All right, I think I should be live. You guys should see me. I'm sorry. I was actually streaming on the wrong one. Hopefully this is the right one. I invited Fabian, but he's taking some time to get on. Oh, now he's here. Fabian, are you here? We are live.
Are we live now? What happened? We just went straight into live. Are we on the correct one?
Yeah, I just apologize to everybody. I guess you didn't hear your little presentation, so sorry for that, guys. We were actually presenting to nobody for like 5 minutes.
Yep. Are we definitely on the right one now?
Hopefully.
Wait. No, I've got the thing where I can hear myself. Let's go. Okay, I think we're live now. Can everybody that's watching, if you can hear and see us, if you could let us know in the chat, please. You can definitely see us now. Yeah, did you explain to everyone what just happened?
Yeah, I just said that I clicked on the wrong streaming one and that you were presenting to no one. So do you want to present again that challenge?
So we let David handle the tech for once, and this is what happens. Okay, cool. Yeah, people are saying we're live. All right, so try to just do exactly what I just had this whole perfect speech planned out and everything, explaining exactly what TimerTuesday is. Anyways, so big welcome for everyone. Good morning, afternoon, or day, depending where you're tuning in from. If this is your first TimerTuesday, I'll just take 1 minute to quickly explain how it works. You can see underneath this video, there's a little description that has kind of the basic steps, but I'll just quickly explain it also. So the point of this challenge is, this is our weekly free digital painting challenge. And the point is to loosen up your paintings and to really just get in the zone of learning. So if you're the kind of person that starts plenty of paintings but always kind of hit a block, if you find yourself stressing out because you can't get things to look good, that's the idea of this challenge. So the basic idea in a nutshell is to set yourself a timer for 60 minutes. Every week we pick a new photo for you to work with so that we can all do it, the same photo. We can all share our results and then basically just start painting for an hour and just get it as good as you can. Don't stress about the details. Don't try to work yourself up too much. David's cracking up because this is literally the exact same speech.
Did you write it down?
No, I'm just trying to repeat it exactly the way I did. It was better before, but there you go. With that, I'll hand the mic over to you, David.
All right, good. So, well, sorry guys, we're late today. I don't know how to deal with technology. I'm a dinosaur to be up in the fact. Anyway, I'm going to start sharing my screen and we'll start this TimerTuesday all together. And this time, everybody should be able to see what I'm doing. One thing I'm going to do now is just I'm going to go back here. I'm going to reset my timer because I had a timer started. So reset this. And is it starting again? No, refresh the page. And yes, all right, good. So we are doing, last week we were doing a portrait. That was really nice. This time we're going to do that bowl of fruit. I just feel like the colors were kind of Christmassy somehow, so kind of put us in a good festive mood. And so yeah, I'm going to try to paint that today, guys, with you. And for those who are doing it at the same time as me, then thanks for joining me. And so yeah. I always start with the background usually, trying to match. You can either pick the color like I just did, or you can try to pick it up yourself. See, for most of the time I try to guess it. This time I pick it up. I'm getting kind of lazy today. It's super snowy where I am right now, and it's been 3 years I didn't see that much snow or live in that cold of a weather, actually. It's -8 today. So yeah, now I'm going to use a lasso tool just to do the circle of the bowl, just because it's going to be easier for me to make a perfect circle this way. And I'm going to pick up something a bit lighter so we can see it. And what I'll do after that, I'm going to take the eraser with the art edge brush. I'm just going to delete just some bits of it just to make sure it's not totally perfect. Usually I could have done the opposite and just do like circle with art edge brush, and then I would have done that automatically actually. And do both. That's going to be the base of it. From there, I'm using layers today. Sometimes I like to do that challenge with only one layer. But I'm using layer today, just give myself that extra confidence in everything I do. I'm going to try to just put that color that you see here, sort of kind of a blue-gray, something like that, I guess, but a little bit more desaturated, I guess. Maybe that.
So, real quick question from Viachi, who's watching and listening at work, saying, I can't follow along. What's the best way to make the most out of this? The download link will stay under this video pretty much indefinitely. So feel free to just grab the file after work and do it later. Same goes for this video. You can just use the same URL that this is on, or just go on our YouTube channel, and you can rewatch it anytime you like.
So yeah, I'm going to lock the pixels here. It's a little trick because I see there's like a gradation of like dark to pale a little bit. So I'm going to lock the pixel, take a soft round brush to just create that that gradient. Let's bring the color a little bit down there like this. And just get that like this. And from here, Fabian, if you're typing, if you could just cut.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. And from here, I'll I'm just going to paint like colors. I'm not going to try to let's say like I see like blueberries around and like strawberries or raspberries. I mean, or in the mint leaves. What I want to do is more like patches of colors for now to keep it really like simple. So I'm going to try to pick up like the darkest color for like the blueberries. Starter. I'm going to go with something like that. And I'm going to use an art edge brush. Just, so you know what, I'm going to take something with texture. I like to use texture for those kind of challenges. A, it gives me practice to learn how to do it. And B, it's actually giving me like those, what I like to call the happy mistakes, really. So I'm going to just paint some blue a bit everywhere for now. I'm not going to worry too much about the shape of the fruits because I'm going to layer the rest of the fruit afterwards. So really what I want to do is just kind of paint some blue for now. I think when I'm going to put the raspberries after that, it's going to start shaping the shape of those fruit they're supposed to take.
It's quite interesting. I would have thought the intuitive way that I would have guessed would have been to like block out each fruit first, one by one, just make a bunch of circles.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to would work, especially if you want to do something that's like exactly the same. But today I feel like experimenting actually.
So I guess this will allow you to just start getting down like the shapes much quicker, before you start obsessing over like where every berry goes.
Hopefully, yeah. I'm very experimenting right now. I'm using every layer though, every different layers to make sure that I can go back and forth. So really the raspberries I think will help me to get proportions of some sorts. So I'm gonna place one here. Just like that, and I see there's another one. Around about here, there's a leaf in front of it. So kind of guessing half of it will show. So I'm just going to put this like that. And you'll see there's a little patchy patch right there. And another one here. Yeah. So keep everything on layers. I'll be able to start adding some details very separately. And using the lock pixels is going to help me later. You were about
to as in the like the lock, is that like the lock layer transparency?
Yeah.
So you can paint like only over those shapes.
Yeah.
Cool. That'll be a cool trick to show off later.
And then I'm going to make a new layer with green of the mint. Oops.
How's everybody feeling about today's photo? And how did everybody get on with last week's portrait? Saw some really, really cool results.
Yeah, those results were actually really nice.
We
I had
thought
so much
a lot less people would be able to follow along because it is generally a bit harder to do a portrait, especially in that short of amount of time. But hats off to everyone. Great results. What were you saying, David?
I'm elaborating what I'm doing at the same time I'm doing it. If any of you guys have any questions about anything, it could be related to what I do or just really like, digital painting in general. I'm really spending this time with you guys to do this challenge with you, but also to answer any kind of question you guys can have.
So apparently you forgot to set yourself to presenter mode, by the way. So apparently
It keeps on switching.
Apparently half of it has just been a
Not a
picture
good
of my
one for
face.
David, doing the wrong thing. All right. Presenter to everyone. All right. Now you should, everybody should see I'm so That's great.
Just
All right.
the real art here is me, apparently. It's just my picture, 80% of it. And I wasn't even aware of that. At least it wasn't going to my webcam because I wasn't even just like looking in every direction.
All right, cool. All right, so that seems okay. Like I know, like right now this week, I'm not gonna go with the proportion perfectly. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball them right now. I'll have to have some fun later. All right, so what I'll do now, I'm just gonna go over the blue. I'm gonna use the lock pixels like I was saying, and I'll pick up the blue to go on top of this. Okay. Something, I guess, a little bit more like this, I guess. Yeah, something like that. Maybe just a bit of transparency. I'm going to pick that new color here, and that should do. And from here, I'm going to try to have a little bit more of a designing the blueberries now, like the roundness of it, I guess. And if you could cut your microphone while you were working.
It's a really loud mouse, isn't it? I've noticed that when I try to record stuff. It is very loud. Leslie is saying he's going to draw me. The challenge is you can only see me every time I speak. So that's the bonus. Timer Tuesday. Extra bonus credit.
Yeah.
How's this one comparing for you, David, compared to?
Well, as usual, I like to set myself like challenges, like by doing like, I don't know, kind of random techniques, like doing what I'm doing right now. And I can already see I'm going to have trouble. So I don't know, it's too early to say, I would say, right now. I'm just trying to place a little bit more values, and then I'm going to go into details afterwards. So from there, I'll do the raspberry. I'm going to have something a little bit darker, I guess. It's kind of like some each I don't know, seeds, I guess, of that raspberry.
Mm-hmm. Like seeds or little fruit balls, I'm sure is the scientific name.
Fruit balls, definitely. It's definitely fruit balls. All right, so yeah.
Yeah, sorry. We're really on fire. Really on fire today, aren't we?
Yeah,
for everybody's information, we've just spent the last like hour and a half before this frantically trying to find a better way to stream without all the lag. So mine's kind of in another place right now.
We're trying out laggy instead of fixing it. We became the lag. So yeah, so I think it's going to turn out to be more like experimental kind of piece right now. I'll have to add some details to make sure that everything looks sharp, but I'll merge the layers at some point, and I'm just keeping the layers just to add the first batch of values. I might use saffron brush for just seeing the roundness of the leaf first.
So Bob was asking how and why you lock pixels. Does it do just what it says?
You see, Bob, if I like the pixels, it's because I can take any kind of color now. Let's say I want some yellow on the leaves. Because I'm on the leaves, it's only going to stay on the leaves. That's why I'm liking pixels. And I can do that for each of them.
It's the transparency lock. So if you maybe just quickly point out where exactly to click to get that. So rather than the regular lock symbol on the right, it's the...
it looks like a little chessboard icon.
Yeah, exactly. And that'll let you paint only on pixels that have already been painted on.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to my texture brush for now. And I'm going to add some yellow.
Similar to using a mask, but just a lot quicker, I guess, if you don't need...
It's different techniques, really. Like, there's so many ways you can use Photoshop, really. Like, sometimes I experiment with different ways, just for the sake of it.
Mm-hmm.
And from time to time, you realize that there's something that goes better with your flow.
Right.
I like the lock pixels. I would not say more. I would say there's definitely like moments. I have none in my head right now, but there's definitely moments like where sometimes I like to just use the mask. All right, I'm going to add some more light color on each of them, I guess, now. Go back with the blueberry. We're going by layers now.
So to answer our earlier question, Jessica's saying, I left last week, but since I normally do lots of people, like portraits, it's a lot easier to get into the flow when it's not of a person. So, I mean, I think for the most part, we might do a few portraits here and there, but we'll probably be sticking to non-portrait things for exactly that reason also.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a challenge, right? So try to... Well, that's a vibrating. Today is great. There's all sorts.
Yeah, everything's going right today, isn't it?
All right, I'm really going like randomly right now. Just getting like the values from far away, really. I'll see if I'll be able to actually make like details out of this afterwards. So what I'm saying is, I guess that maybe at the end of it, I'll be like, never do that. Never do that again. That was a perfect example of like, don't do that at home.
Well, that's the point of the challenge, is to, like I was saying earlier, to not assume you're trying to get like a portfolio piece out of it, but give yourself permission to experiment and just try some new things, and chances are very good you're going to learn something new out of it.
So right now I feel like I'm getting the values that I can work with. I'm just going to add some dark part here. And then I'm probably going to merge all the layers together and try to make sense of that gooey ball of fruit.
Bowl?
Mm-hmm. I said ball, but yeah, bowl.
Hard to tell. What are you planning on? I noticed you're leaving like a lot of spaces between the blueberries. You plan on just adding some extra?
I'm going to go paint like, that's where I'm going to go and get to details. Like obviously I've been letting like there's like just a little places I need to go back. So but I think I got the values now, so I'm just going to merge everything together. Literally. And from there, I'm going to get a bit closer, I guess.
So a follow-up question from Bob. Asking, do you have to then unlock the pixels when you're done with that piece of the image?
If you want to paint something on the same layer, yes, you do. But if you want to just create a new layer, then you can just create a new layer as well.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea of it is that like you paint down a base, like for example, the leaf, you paint it in green or just in any color. And then if you lock that layer, if that's the only thing on that layer, if you lock the transparency on it, just on top of that leaf without affecting anything else. So then if you want to paint something else in a different part, you can then just create a new layer to work somewhere else, or unlock the transparency if you want. Just creating a new layer then.
It's exactly that. All right, I see that this missing like some, I should have done that before, but like the values on the sides are wrong. So I just want to add more darkness between the fruits, like right about here. Like here, I'm going to need to paint a lot more, adding the values here. And I'll merge everything back again. Yeah, I'm probably going to spend a lot more time fixing the mistakes than I started with that new technique than actually painting. But hey, you live and you learn.
Just remembered for Bob also, or anyone else that's interested, if you want to find out more about using layers and the different transparency types, we actually did a video on that about a year ago, just over a year ago even. If you search on YouTube for how to use layers in digital paintable, it should come up, or I'm going to post a link in the chat for you now. So yeah, have a look at that after the stream maybe. Because there are some pretty cool, powerful features once you,
Well,
like
that's
using
the
the basics of layers, that alone, just creating new layers is already like super powerful. But then once you dig into it a bit more, there's even more kind of cool features that aren't essential, but that can really speed up your workflow and allow you to try new, different techniques.
It's the big advantage of working digitally, really. Be able to work with layers and give you that that space where you can just create lots of details and go back as many times as you want to fix them. So yeah, I feel like this illustration is going to be like me just trying to get lots of details as much as possible. It's a very simple image, but it's the details that make it really complicated. So I'm going to try to nail like layers of details one by one, starting with the blueberries, and then I'll try to move on to the other ones like the leaves and the raspberries.
Well, this is a very forgiving one in terms of proportions. As you can see in David, it's like the berries are all over the place. They're nowhere near as in proportion or the same as in the photo, but that's completely fine because it still looks like a bowl of berries at the end of the day. So this one will, with each one, you'll have different challenges that you can focus on. I guess like David said, this one, you can just not worry about proportions at all and just spend way more time focusing on details.
Yeah. Just having fun, just getting the shapes really. It's going to look more artistic than photorealistic.
Mm-hmm.
Just forget the one in the middle. Got some splashes of details.
Have you been using the same texture brush throughout this whole painting again?
Pretty much. I've been using, I think, this brush for the whole challenge. For the 5 times we did the challenge, it's a brush I like to use. Like for my personal work these days, I've been using a lot the mixer brush tool. I've found new ways to work with it. And I wanted to actually create some brushes to talk about those. I didn't have the time yet, but it's on my to-do list. But when it comes to streaming, we've been trying to find many ways to not have the lag, which seems impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think that would be a lot easier in 2017, almost 2018, just to have an easy way to stream online without lag. I mean, it's fine if you're just not using a memory-intensive program like Photoshop. So it's a very unique challenge there.
Yeah, well, I just, like I was saying to you earlier, I just really want to have like software I can press on a button and I start streaming. I don't want to have to, like for everybody out there that's streaming like with OBS, like I was trying to set it up and see if it was better for our streaming of today. And it turns out to be like super complicated. You have to like copy this, copy that, and at the end of the day, it's still laggy as crazy. It's a bit disappointing. Yeah.
So speaking of brushes, a little sneak peek announcement for all our Academy members that are watching. David just last week, I think, just sent me over a new pack of brushes he's been working on. A little brush pack for sketching. Did you want to tell people about that?
Yeah, well, it's going to be like, it's going to be around about 10 brushes, I think, and they're basically they mimic like how you would use a pencil to sketch. So if you were like to put your pencil on the side, the effect that it would give. I've been trying to have like different textures that you would have when you're actually sketching normally with traditional media. And I'm going to create an exercise to implement those brushes so we can actually try them.
Nice. What's the big advantage of using that over just using a regular brush for sketching?
Well, if you like it's all about the effect. So when it comes to those brushes, because otherwise, I feel like any kind of brushes can be used from any artist, right? You just find something you like, and then you use it, and then you keep on working with it. But what I like about those brushes is they're looking like traditional media at the end of the day. So it looks like you did a sketching on a piece of paper, but it's on a piece of paper. And I like that because personally, I like to have all my tools on my computer, and so I can just start painting only on my computer, really. Like since I started doing digital media, I feel like it's easier. If I want to start an illustration, I can just go on my computer and all my tools are there. It's easy. I don't have to have like a canvas and a piece of paper and then space and then paint and then water and then clean everything afterwards. So to be able to have like some cool medium, traditional medium to work with, it gives me the same pleasure that I used to have, like that effect that traditional medias are doing, but without having the pain of like cleaning everything, and getting ready, and having the space and everything.
I mean, I guess for something like sketching, you're gonna end up painting over it eventually, anyways. But I guess it's kind of like a mental thing also. If it just looks much more like a real sketch, just looks much better at the sketching stage already than.
Yeah, but actually, yeah, no, I understand what you mean. But what I meant is like, I designed this one as like, if you want to do like some
right, something that actually just looks.
It's sketching, you know, like
right,
just,
right.
Not even like painting on top of it, but just keep it as is. Then you'll have like, to have those brushes that are able to do this.
Cool, nice. Yeah, those should be coming fairly soon to the Academy. I haven't had I haven't dug into them too much yet, but first impression I saw is they seem pretty.
You want to talk about that?
Sorry?
So do you want to talk about that? The fact that you didn't have the time to.
You've been pestering me for ages to give you feedback on them. Yeah, sorry. That plus we have a new, whole new, what's the word? Section. Well, not section yet, but like category. That's the word. A whole new category coming out for the Academy exercises. Did you want to say a few words about that?
I've decided for the people that are from the Academy, we decided to have a section which will be purely exercises. So for people that really want to have something like to just push their limits on the material that we already teach in the Academy, such as rendering, such as portraiture or shadow making, like lots of different things. We want to start categories where we are going to create exercises that are very specific, that teach you just one specific skills, and it's purely an exercise. So you already know the stuff, we already teach it to you. So such thing as like anatomy of the facial feature, for example, well, we'll create a new exercise I don't want to talk about details too much because we're still fairly new in that new categories, but that's the idea behind it. It's something that you can start real quick. And
I mean, if you're in the academy, you'll know that all our lessons already have, like, that's our way of teaching, is to teach through like learn by doing. So everything's already built up through exercises, and the idea is to create even more, so that, like, for those concepts that you're learning, so that rather than just one way of learning it through one single exercise, you'll have eventually a whole library full of different exercises for the same concepts. Yeah, so some very exciting new things coming in that space. So more info is coming soon.
Yeah, it's fun. I like to actually design exercises. They're fun to create. They're fun to do too. It's like something you can do in a fairly small amount of time, and usually you get like good results because it's practice, and practice goes over repetition. And usually when you repeat something a lot, you get a lot better way faster. When you do like a final piece, you're going to spend a lot more time on it, and sometimes you're going to struggle to get the results that you want. When it comes to practice, you'll do something smaller, and by repetition, you'll get much better, much faster to it. Okay.
Going back to this, I love how the highlights, the small highlights you add, just make the details come to life so much more. Like this small.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about when I was saying detail. Like I'm gonna put the values, and then it's all about like putting the small highlights. And I don't have to be like as precise as the picture, and it's still gonna give like the feeling that you want to have. You know, like it's small things, like like putting a small highlight here, like a small different value on top of that thing. It's gonna make it pop a lot more.
Things like what's really sticking out to me is that tiny little highlight on the right of the raspberry at the bottom.
Here?
Just that edge on the right. No, on the right of it. There's that like one line.
Here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like such a minor detail, but
difference, yeah.
Yeah, it just makes it so much more crisp, and it really makes that edge pop.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that's a trick that I learned watching like great artists online. They were just using like photorealistic kind of ways to add lighting, but they were adding those kind of things, just like bounce lights all the time. And I started to add it like to pretty much everything I was doing at some point. And I could see that you don't need to know exactly where the light is going to bounce. If you add those things, naturally your eye is going to understand more the forms that you're trying to actually create.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the real key when you look at paintings from like very skilled painters, and they look super realistic, but they don't look photorealistic. They're still very stylized, but they still look very realistic. It's because they've learned exactly where to place those, like what those important details are. Yeah. I guess like a good example is when painting hair, like you showed in your advanced hair tutorial. It's not about painting every single strand. And if you do that, it's going to be overkill. It's about knowing like exactly which points, where those little highlights are, where the little shadows are, to just hint at it, and then your brain kind of fills in the rest.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something for everyone following along, something to focus on for this challenge. See if you can really push yourself to find those like edges, those little highlights, those places where you can just hint at the details. Like David's done around the edges of some of those fruit, to really make things pop.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I'm doing right now. Adding some small highlights, and the highlights make a huge difference, really.
So Jessica's asking, how exactly do we share this on Facebook? I've made a business page just for this. Awesome. So there's, along with the download, you should find, along with the exercise file, there's in another folder. So there's two folders. One is like one exercise, the other is two share file or something like that. There's a little file in there that you can put your finished artwork into. We can show you at the end. And then you can upload it to the Facebook community. either if you're in the academy, either to our private mastermind group, or we also have the free community, which is linked to underneath this video. So share it to one of those. And we'd love to see your work. And make sure to tag it with the hashtag TimerTuesday. That way everybody can find each other's.
And I really like this challenge because I want to say thank you guys for doing the challenge, because believe it or not, when I do the challenge and then I see other results, I totally learn from the way you guys are doing it as well. And I can see different techniques. And that's really good for me, because I'm going to go through this. I'm going to have my own sets of challenges, my own set of setbacks, realize, all right, I should have done this way before, or the other way. And when you guys are doing it, it gives me ideas on how I could get better. And that's really the power of having a community here.
Yeah, that is cool.
The work.
Because everybody has their own unique approach to it, I guess, because everyone has their own unique background of how they started. Jose's saying that he loves that texture brush. Can't find it in the academy, though. I don't think it is in the academy, is it?
It's not. The only reason why it's not in the academy right now is because I think I took this one from another artist, and I didn't know if it was selling it or if it was for free, so I couldn't really put it in the academy. What I could do, though, and I don't want to make any promises here, but I could create probably one fairly fast. Could do the same kind of thing.
Okay, cool.
And this one, share it in the academy. So I'm not saying we're going to do that soon, but if you guys would like to have something like that, it's going to be my pleasure to try to do one for you guys.
Cool. I'll write a little note of that so we don't forget him.
So yeah. So like I said, I didn't start that painting to try to do perfect. So I'm adding blueberries here that are not even on this one, but it's kind of similar. So it's working enough for me. Just gonna check how much time I have in. That's that 26 minutes. That's good.
Just over halfway.
I'll be fine. If I can have the same amount of detail that I have at the bottom here, I think I'll be happy with this study actually.
Yeah, the bottom's looking really nice. At least come out really nice also. If you have time, there's those very almost white highlights on the raspberry at the bottom and across the different raspberries.
It's frozen.
Sorry?
Like frozen water on it.
Yeah, almost like little dew droplets or something. Those could be a cool final touch to add at the end. Bob's saying he loves the idea of having more challenges. And Sam's saying extra homework, could really use that for motivation. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely a big part of the challenges is keep your motivation up. That's why we're also.
I think they were talking about the exercises in the academy, Right?
Yeah, that's what I was. Is that not what I said?
I thought you were talking about this challenge. This challenge.
Right. Well, so I guess this is one too. But yeah, no, the exercises in the academy. I mean, this is a form of an exercise also. But so we'll have some like this, but also some that are much more specific to specific skills. But all will be revealed soon. But yeah, I guess just to go back to that, motivation is one of the big things we're keeping in mind when designing them, making sure they all leave you with cool final outcomes that that motivate you to want to keep painting more. We talked about that in the last stream, but that is 50% of, well, I mean, I just pulled that number completely out of my head. It's scientifically 50% of the challenge.
We're so scientific.
Absolutely. Sam saying, love how juicy the fruit is coming out so far. Those highlights really make a big difference.
Yeah, especially for that. Yeah, for those kind of things. It's fun to add highlights. It really tells the textures of materials that you play with. Being able to play with very poppy color by puppy, I mean like that pups, not the small dog. Just precising here.
Was that, sorry? I was in the chat there.
I was just making jokes. Haha.
I didn't actually hear it. Did you want to repeat your terrible joke?
I was saying I was making puppy colors, and I said it's not the actual dog, but color. See, now you made me repeat.
Puppy colors? Oh, not the actual dog, like puppy colors?
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. You had to be there, man. Just be present.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
So, yeah. Let's continue to add some detail.
How are you in your head?
I'm really just
segmenting planning the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, and just continue whatever I'm doing now, which is adding some texture, making sure that I have a lot of textures, the highlights are well placed. Yeah, right now I feel like everything is coming along pretty well. So I'm going to try to add the same amount of texture and details that I have everywhere. And if I have more time, then I'm just going to try to push those basically.
So notice the edge of the bowl it looks a lot bigger in yours. I think it's because it's just very bright still and you haven't added a lot of values to it.
The shadow itself that I put here should be closer to the edge, which I can do at the end. For now, I feel like the bowl could be different, but the details on the fruits should be just a little bit more detailed before I add more emphasis on the bowl. Because the bowl is secondary, really. The first thing you will read from this image will be the fruits.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Focus on the 20%, the most important things.
Exactly. That's what we teach it. Yeah, me and Fabian were big believers that whenever you do something, you should always think about what's going to make the biggest impact. What's going to make the biggest impact, really, and then you want to focus on that.
That's the Pareto principle.
The what?
Pareto or Pareto? I actually have never. I've typed it tons of times. I've never said it out loud, so I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. It's the idea that what are the 20% of things you can focus on to get 80% of the results. So in this case, I guess the highlights around the berries, for example, things like just a small. I don't know. What would you say are the 20%?
On this, I definitely because of the amount of time, I would say, because you should put the highlights always at the end, but the highlights here are making the image readable, really. So I would definitely put the highlights in the 20%. But I would say the colors would be definitely one. So to nail the colors, then to have a composition that it's okay, even though I didn't match it exactly. And then having the highlights at the right places is making such a huge difference right now. That I would definitely say that it's part of the 20%. Right now, from a distance, it's already good looking. I feel like from now on, I just have to try to have some more fun with the detailing, really.
One thing that really stuck out to me when you zoomed out was that big dark spot on the right.
Right
and
here.
Also a little bit at the top. Yeah.
And I just see that I missed a whole strawberry.
Raspberry?
Yeah, raspberry.
And a whole blueberry too. 2 whole blueberries. Oh, the scandal.
I know, right? So yeah, I'm gonna add another one here. But yeah, so I'm gonna add another blueberry here, and then push this one over here. And then I'm probably gonna attack the bowl and make sure that the bowl looks okay. Maybe this one too. Yeah. So yeah, if anyone is doing the challenge at the same time, and if you want to take 2 seconds to just wrote in the chat. And if you want to just let me know, do you find this image more odd than, I don't know, than anything we did so far, like the portraiture or anything, like because of the detailing and everything? Like, just give me some feedback on how do you find this one challenging for you. Basically, just write hard or easy, and that's enough information for me.
So I'm gonna just realize I haven't been looking in the chat at all. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Bob was asking earlier if you add color to those pencil, so the pencil brushes you were talking about, would you be able to get a colored pencil effect?
That's a good question, Bob. And you know what? I feel ashamed that I didn't try it. I didn't try it. But yeah, we're building it now. So actually, that's a good point. I should try them to play with colors.
I'd imagine so, right? I'd imagine.
I would imagine so. Yeah, I would imagine so. But I can't tell until I don't try.
Because it's based on like a texture file kind of thing, isn't it? Like again with the scientific description.
You're so scientific today. Yeah, there's a texture in the background, and the texture is in black and white, and it will just yeah, it won't change anything to add color to it or not. So it should do it. Should do the trick. But no way to tell until I try, really. Which I will soon.
Jessica saying TimerTuesday has become a ritual for her now. That is awesome.
That is.
Yeah, we weren't sure how many people would actually be following along when we did the first one, but it's been great seeing every week. Tons of you guys following along. And looking forward to seeing even more people joining the challenge. And even if you don't have time to do it every week, just all it takes is 1 hour.
Yeah.
At any point, you don't have to do it while we're painting. In fact, it's probably, for a lot of people, helpful to first watch David do his maybe, and then do yours afterwards. So you way of attacking it.
Crash and burn and then do better. That's always the way to go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm gonna try to attack the bowl now. I still feel like 50 minutes and stuff. Plenty of time, but I wanna try to fix that bowl for now. And I guess Fabian, if you wanna give me after that, where's the places you think I need to work on the most?
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to point it out?
Well, I'm gonna fix that bowl for now, but
okay, cool. Yeah. The berries are looking a bit too dark. Maybe just use. I think like the values seem okay. Just everything. I think everything just needs a bit of lightening up. Maybe just use brightness.
Yeah, I'll use some overlay, I guess, over.
Yeah, or that. The little dewdrops on the raspberry, I think, would make a big difference.
The small stuff that you have here?
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually like, yeah, okay.
And mainly just lightening up the berries.
All right.
And then, yeah, I mean, like it's not an exact copy, like there's berries in different places and stuff, but that's obviously completely fine as a whole. Definitely reads as a bowl of fruit. Yeah. Also, the details on the top leaf, I guess, could be pushed further.
Yeah, definitely. I agree 100% with that. That was the one thing that I was like, that would need a little bit more work.
Mm-hmm.
To me. But yeah. All right, cool. I feel like the bowl is a bit better like this already.
Yeah.
It needs a little edge.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Let's light up first. So I'm going to create a new layer with overlay. I like to use overlay because I can go dark and I can go light. I'm going to use a saffron brush. Fairly small this time. And I'll use some white. That's just going to light up a few places. Just like that. Same thing here. I could also use like some actual red and colors at the same time. It's already a bit better.
Yeah, it's made it pop.
And now I'm just going to try to add some white. And for that, I'm going to have to go, I think, with just like a very tiny brush and some white. And really just, well, not white, but higher value of anything I have.
Is this the little dewdrops you're doing now?
Yeah, I'm going to try to, so it's like, just trying to find a brush. I feel like this is, I need something with a little bit more texture, so I'm going to use this. There. From there, it's going to take your time at this point and just make it even more photorealistic. For me, I'm just going a little bit like scratchy, artsy all the time. Just not going for total precision, but just for a general look, feel, flow. And from a distance, it should look kind of okay.
So a question from Sandeep, who's tuning in from India. Welcome. And asking whether the video will stay up only when it's live. Nope, as we mentioned earlier, you can watch this at any time. We also have the recordings for the last two are on our YouTube page. And the first ones we did on our Facebook page. So have a look there if you want to watch any of the previous ones. And like we were saying, you can catch up on them anytime. You don't have to do the challenge right now. Just do it whenever you have a moment.
Although we like when you do it at the same time, it's always fun to have some people.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. A lot of people saying they're at work. So that obviously does make it a little bit more difficult. I guess that would be hard to justify to your boss if you're not doing digital painting for a living.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not something you can quickly just open a new tab on.
No, definitely not. But that would be ballsy, you know? Ballsy. Like, what are you doing?
Sneaky TimerTuesday at work.
All right. I guess I'm going to add some more details.
Those the white highlights really have made a big difference.
Yeah.
That's looking nice. I'd say the blueberries are still definitely looking too dark, but
blueberries are still too dark. All right, that's going to be an easy fix. But
yeah, I'll let you do the leaf first.
Let's add some more. Leafy stuff.
Just saw a question from Jessica that I missed earlier. Sorry about that. Asking whether we'd ever consider painting at the same time. Saying she likes TimerTuesday.
I would love that.
So, number of reasons we can't do that. So, I mean, I'm not actually really the digital painting expert myself. I'm from an illustration background. I've done a lot of traditional painting and traditional illustration, studied illustration also, but never really got into perfecting digital painting the way that David has. I've dabbled a bit, but basically, I mean, it's something that the idea was that I really wanted to pick it up when we first started this business. It's kind of how we got together making these tutorials in the first place. But turns out that running a business takes up literally all of your time. And truth be told, I just haven't really had the time to get around to it so much yet. So that's why David makes all of our lessons. I mean, I can still give feedback and critique some things coming from, a painting background. Just haven't really had time to master the tools yet. That being said, also, I guess the other main reason is it would just be it'd be even laggier and even more difficult to just focus on one painting if it's constantly switching between the two of them. We do
I don't
have,
think technically it would be possible, actually.
yeah, that's the other thing. We have talked about the idea of, and I mean, this is something that there's no set plans for this right now, so don't hold us accountable to this right yet, but something we do want to start up potentially in 2018 is getting some other artists on to kind of like interview and watch them do some challenges, so that you're not always getting bored of David's work, because I know you probably
That's
are.
not nice. That's very nice. That's nice, Adam. Very nice.
No, just to get a number of different styles and approaches in. Still kind of trying to figure out the logistics of that, but that's something to hopefully look forward to in 2018.
Yeah,
That would be pretty cool.
All right.
Wow, those
10 minutes.
highlights to the brushes into the leaf really have made everything pop a lot more.
Yeah. If I had to spend more and more time on this, I would go like in total detail. But like to be like totally honest, like this is great for me. Like I'm happy with the result that I just got. Obviously, there would be different techniques that would make me sure that I get to a higher level of precision. But overall, I'm really happy. And all I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to put those little good drops that are into on the side here. Right, bring those on 20%. That's one. There we go.
Are you gonna focus on the background at all for this one? I guess probably not, huh?
You know what? That's a good call. I got time for that. So what I'll do is I'm going to just use a brush with some texture, and I will, yeah, we'll add the texture. Add the little shadow that those drops will have.
So we have, was it about 6 minutes left? Does anybody in the chat, I've pointed out a few things for David now, does anybody in the chat see anything else that they'd like to see fixed or worked on or improved, or things that are sticking out to anyone? Got five more minutes for that. Asked that during the, not the last one, but the one before, the boat one. I got a ton of great responses. That was pretty cool.
It's pretty helpful too.
Sam is saying maybe the top leaf, maybe a bit more love there. Yeah, true. That is probably my least favorite leaf. Sorry.
Full of compliments today. Yeah.
No, but I phrased that, because I phrased that in a nice way, I think, because they're all fabulous leaves.
That's what you call a backhand compliment, right? All right.
No, true. I think it's just because it's the one you went to last, so you had the least time to work on that one. I love how the bottom one turned out. The bottom berries in that leaf, just so many nice juicy details. Throw in a juicy pun. It's not really.
Now what I'm going to do is just add some texture to the background. I'm obviously going to tone it down, and obviously going to delete it afterwards, the parts that are in front of the fruits. But just that's something I should have done at the beginning when my layers were separate. That would have been much easier, but that still works for now. And I still have a few more minutes, 4 more minutes to add some more details. I guess I'm going to add some detail on that leaf because that's true. Like, truth be told, this leaf is taking a fairly big part of the illustration. I should have done probably more work on it. And now I'm left with no time to actually do anything.
So learn from David's mistake. That leaf is one of the 20% that you should focus on when you do this exercise yourself.
It's very in your face, so I should have put some more love onto it, to use the exact word.
Let's see what got some good feedback in the chat. Bob's saying, other than the details on the larger leaf, it's all looking so juicy. Vietchi's saying the darks seem darker and shiny on the berries. Yeah, the berries definitely are darker than in the photo.
The berries, my berries are darker. Okay, all right.
Yeah. But I think you have definitely lightened it up from earlier. Maybe just broadly just lift the whole
of it. And what I'll do is...
It's kind of cool. Doesn't look like the photo, but it's kind of cool. They look very shiny now.
I'm going to tone it down.
Is that, so you're using just white on an overlay layer? Yep.
Exactly. And so I'm even going to tone it down.
Oh, that's cool. Now they look like metallic almost. Can you do before and after?
Before? After. Before.
Yeah, nice.
After. And I'll do another one just real quick for this guy.
Jessica's also saying the bowl inside has a circular dark burn. If you neaten that up in your painting, so the edge in the middle of the bowl have more contrast.
What?
The bowl inside has a circular dark burn. So I guess, I'm not quite sure what you mean, Jessica. Sorry, would you mind clarifying that?
Maybe she means the contrast between the bowl outside. That's
yeah, right. Yep. I think that's...
Like if I just do this, put it on multiply actually. If I just add some here, it's just going to help read the bowl a little bit better.
True.
Makes the trick.
Yeah, definitely. Good shout.
Yeah. How much time we have? We have 1 minute.
Go. Details.
Yeah.
Spend it on the leaf.
Yeah, definitely the leaf. I'm just going to take a texture brush on an overlay layer and just try to add some random stuff on it like this. Just to add a little bit more of visual interest.
Yeah, nice.
Just letting the brush work for me here. Not trying to paint anything, but really just having a brush with texture. It's going to help me just add some more texture. And I think it should be like darker, but maybe if I add another layer of overlay this time, just with a darker green, I could try to paint some spots here and there, and probably tone it down a bit.
Yeah, I think the dark spots were a bit too much.
Yeah. And there we go.
There it is.
Boom. I'm going to stop that.
A slightly annoying sound.
There we go, guys. Well, all right. So what did I learn about this one? I'm happy with the results. I think it's definitely looking like a bowl of fruit. Something I did in an hour. I'm pretty happy too. Lots of details, lots of highlights. The colors are popping and everything. If I had to redo this for like a client, let's say, I would have to be more precise. I would probably have to start with Sketch, obviously. And I would start rendering things just with more precise, like using a saffron brush to round up the blueberries and that I have like all over more control. But that being said, I think I end up with something that is very close to the reference. I'm pretty happy with it.
I think you did a great job. I think that's one of my favorite TimerTuesdays you've done.
Well, thank you.
If you had to give everybody one tip before they get started on their own, what would it be for this particular piece?
For this particular piece, I would say when I started illustration, my blueberry, I started like randomly. Maybe be less random. Try to match a little bit more the proportion. Like I end up with like something similar, not exactly, which is fine. Like the the leaves are at the same spot, and the raspberries are pretty much at the same spot, but the blueberries might give me a little of a hard time because I had to design each of them. So it was harder for that. Maybe try to just be more, try to focus more on the photo that you have. Although this was a good challenge too, you know, like if you want to do a real challenge, actually, you could just try to make it even more different than me. Maybe change the leaves, the places of the leaves. Maybe change the fruits a little bit and the spots. And therefore you'll be designing something from a reference image, but it's from your imagination at the same time. So that could be a really nice challenge as well.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say, actually, I think that's, it's cool that you didn't just work 100% from the photo. I think it is super close, to be fair. Yeah, I think if you are about to do this afterwards, some of the key points, just to summarize, that we touched on today. A, start with the big leaf and work your way down to the small, like with the big areas, work your way down to the smaller areas. B, try to find like those key places to put highlights, places like the edges, those small little highlights on the berries, the little frosting on the bottom raspberry, just those little places, tiny little highlights that make so much of a difference. I think those were the two main themes from today's paintings. Anything else?
Definitely. Especially the highlights.
So with that, I am very excited to see how everyone does with this one. It's like we were saying earlier, it's a very forgiving one in terms of proportions. So if that threw you off last week, then just know that that shouldn't be so much of an issue this time. You can really just get into the details much more. So if you like to paint details, which I'm assuming almost everybody does, then this should be a very fun one for you.
Yeah. And on that note, thank you for showing up, guys. I'm gonna have to, because we were so late, I'm gonna have to leave this this meeting room that I am in because there's
people. Okay.
Thank you for showing up, guys. I'm looking forward to do this again next Tuesday. Hopefully we're still gonna be on schedule. Let me, maybe I can actually check that before I actually say. That we'll be able to do this next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is my birthday.
Okay. So just you do that the whole time, didn't you? You just wanted to sneakily slide that one in there for everyone.
I'll try to be there for my birthday. I can't promise anything. We'll try to do our best.
Cool. Yeah, the next 2 weeks will be a little bit challenging because, leading up into the holiday seasons, both of us are visiting our families. But we will try our very best. Worst case, 1 or 2 of the sessions might not be live. Maybe we can just pre-record them so that you guys have something. But we'll try to make it, but we'll keep you guys posted each week. As of January, we'll be able to set same time, more of a schedule to it, I guess. Real fast, Jessica's asking how to share it, put it on Facebook. So like I said, if you use the file inside, I'm assuming you don't have it handy right now, David.
The what?
The file to share your work?
No.
So it's a separate PSD in the
should be
download folder.
I got it from last week, this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a document like this that you just want to put your image. You see, I put my previous image from all the Timer Tuesdays. So people, that's new for you, but those were the previous Timer Tuesdays. And so basically what you want to do is just you want to put your image in there, put the time. Usually it's 60. Last week was 70. That's why it's written 70. Yeah. Yeah,
just drag and drop. You make a marquee around your whole piece, hit Command Alt Shift C, I think. It'll copy everything, or just merge it down and then copy it and just paste it into that document and then upload it to our Facebook group. And the big thing which I'd always recommend is give somebody else feedback on theirs. That way everybody can learn as a community and you'll improve yourself as an artist. And we say it a lot, but it's because it is so true. The more you try to critique other people's work, the more you train your eye to spot mistakes in your own work, So it's really a huge win-win for everybody. So yeah, upload your work, tag it with the words Timer Tuesday. Directions for that underneath this video also, I think. And give somebody else some feedback. And most importantly, have fun, right? Learn some new things.
Definitely. Thank you for participating, guys. This is awesome. We're planning on doing more stuff like Timer Tuesdays, more lives for you in 2018. I guess from now on, though, Christmas season is going to come, like Fahim was saying. So we'll try to be there as much as possible. But otherwise, back to work in January full time. And we're looking very forward to it. For
sure. So cool. Well, we'll see you in one form or another next week, whether it's live or pre-recorded. But yeah, enjoy your painting. Happy painting, and look forward to seeing your work.
All right. Ciao, guys.
Have a great day, everyone.